Ladies and gentlemen, imagine this. You wake up in the morning and before your feet even touch the ground, anxiety already grips your heart. The weight of the world crashes down before you've even had your first cup of coffee. Your mind races with thoughts of deadlines, pressures, and uncertainties. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be this way? What if I told you that there is a way to wake up every morning not with fear, but with faith, not with panic, but with peace? What if I told you that you could open your eyes each day knowing you have a divine purpose to walk in? Too many people start their days like a runaway train, rushing, worrying, and already exhausted before the day even begins. But today, I want to show you another way, a way that will transform not just your mornings, but your entire life. Stay with me. Because by the end of this message, you'll have the keys to unlock the kind of mornings that lead to peace, clarity, and purpose. First, we must understand that peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of something greater. Peace is knowing that no matter what chaos awaits us, there is an unshakable foundation beneath our feet. And purpose? Purpose is not found in fleeting success, wealth, or applause. Purpose is found in knowing why you are here and who you are meant to serve. So how do we start every day with peace and purpose? Before you pick up your phone, before you let the worries of the world in, start your morning with gratitude. Speak out loud what you are thankful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. The world will pull you in 100 directions the moment you step out of bed. But take time to be still, to center yourself. Peace is not found in noise, it is found in stillness. Many people seek peace in temporary things, but real peace is found when we anchor our hearts to something eternal. Your words have power. Instead of speaking fear, declare faith. Instead of worrying about the problems ahead, speak solutions and strength into existence. Don't drift through the day waiting for something to happen. Serve someone, encourage someone, walk in kindness and courage. Purpose is not about personal success. It's about making an impact. Every morning presents us with a profound opportunity, a chance to begin anew, to leave behind the burdens of yesterday and step into the possibilities of today. Yet too often we wake up carrying the weight of the past, letting yesterday's worries, regrets, and fears cloud the fresh morning light. Instead of embracing the newness of the day, we allow the same old thoughts to dictate our attitude, the same anxieties to fill our minds, and the same distractions to steal our focus. But what if we truly understood the power of a new beginning? What if we recognized that each morning is not just another day on the calendar, but an invitation to start over, to reset our hearts and minds, and to step forward with renewed strength and purpose. The beauty of a new day is that it is untouched, unspoiled, and filled with endless potential. It does not matter what mistakes were made yesterday, what failures seemed overwhelming, or what disappointments weighed heavily on our hearts. When the sun rises, it brings with it the reminder that we are not bound to the past. Just as the night gives way to the dawn, so too can our struggles and setbacks give way to fresh hope. Every morning is a gift, a divine opportunity to realign our thoughts, to choose a better way, and to set the course for the day ahead. The question is not whether the new beginning is available to us, but whether we will embrace it. To start every day with peace and purpose, we must first acknowledge that yesterday does not define today. Too many people wake up with their minds already consumed by yesterday's battles, replaying past failures or bracing for new ones. But the truth is, no matter what has happened before, the moment we open our eyes is a new chance, a new page waiting to be written. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, we must choose to focus on what can go right. We must remind ourselves that each morning is a divine reset, a fresh opportunity to walk in hope, courage, and faith. Peace comes when we release the grip of yesterday and step into the present moment with gratitude. Purpose is found when we recognize that we are not here by accident. There is a reason we have been given another day. When we wake up with this awareness, We no longer take our mornings for granted. We no longer drag ourselves out of bed, dreading the responsibilities ahead. Instead, we rise with anticipation, knowing that today holds meaning, that our steps have direction, and that there is work to be done. The power of a new beginning is not in erasing the past, but in learning from it without being controlled by it. It is about stepping forward with faith rather than fear, choosing to see the opportunities rather than the obstacles. It is about realizing that no matter how yesterday ended, today is a new day. A day filled with the potential to walk in peace and purpose like never before. The world is a noisy place. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with distractions. Our phones light up with notifications. The news floods us with worries, and our schedules demand our immediate attention. Before we have even had a moment to breathe, our minds are pulled in a dozen different directions. The noise is relentless, and if we are not careful, it will drown out the very things that bring us peace and clarity. It is no wonder that so many people start their days feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and lost. Instead of stepping into the morning with a sense of calm and direction, they step into it feeling rushed and reactive, already at the mercy of whatever demands come their way. But it does not have to be this way. We have the power to choose what we allow into our minds and hearts at the start of each day. We can silence the noise of the world and tune into something greater, something that brings us true peace. Silencing the noise does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It means intentionally creating space for stillness before the chaos of the day takes over. It means resisting the urge to reach for our phones the moment we wake up. It means taking control of our mornings instead of letting the world dictate how we feel. When we wake up and immediately expose ourselves to stress, negativity, and comparison, we set the tone for the entire day. But when we choose to begin in stillness, in gratitude, in quiet reflection, we build a foundation of peace that carries us through whatever comes our way. Many people search for peace in external things, thinking that if they could just fix their circumstances, they would finally feel at rest. But peace is not found in the absence of problems. It is found in the presence of something unshakable. It is not about waiting for everything to go right. It is about anchoring our hearts to something deeper, something that does not change when the world around us is chaotic. This kind of peace is not dependent on the headlines of the day, the opinions of others, or the pressures of life. It is a peace that comes from within, from knowing who we are, why we are here, and what truly matters. The noise of the world will always be there, but we do not have to let it control us. We can make the choice to start each day differently. We can create moments of silence, moments where we center our hearts and remind ourselves of the truth. Instead of rushing into the day with stress and distraction, we can step into it with intention. We can decide that the first voice we listen to in the morning will not be the voice of fear, anxiety, or comparison, but the voice of peace. And when we do this, we step into our day not as people who are overwhelmed, but as people who are prepared. Not as people who are lost in the noise, but as people who walk with purpose, clarity, and strength. Our hearts are like compasses, constantly pointing us in a direction. The question is, where are they leading us? Each morning, whether we realize it or not, we set the course for our day based on what our hearts are centered on. If our hearts are filled with fear, anxiety, or distractions, our day will reflect that. But if our hearts are anchored in something steady, something unshakable, we will move through the day with a sense of peace and direction that nothing can take away. A centered heart is the key to starting the day with clarity, because what we focus on in the morning will shape how we respond to everything that comes our way. Many people wake up and immediately feel a sense of unrest. They feel scattered, unsure, and overwhelmed before the day has even begun. This happens because their hearts are pulled in too many directions. They wake up thinking about work pressures, financial struggles, personal conflicts, and the expectations of others. Instead of beginning the day with focus, they begin it with a divided mind, trying to juggle everything at once. The result is a life that feels chaotic, where each day becomes another battle to just keep up. But it does not have to be this way. We have the power to choose what we allow to take hold of our hearts, and that choice determines the course of our day. A heart that is not centered will always chase after the wrong things. It will seek validation from others, success at any cost, or temporary pleasures that leave it empty. But a heart that is centered on what truly matters will be steady, unshaken by the storms of life. It will not be easily distracted, nor will it be tossed around by every worry or difficulty. It will know where to find true peace, and it will hold unto that peace no matter what comes. The key is making an intentional decision every morning to anchor our hearts in something greater than ourselves. When our hearts are centered, we do not waste time chasing things that do not satisfy. We do not start the day in a rush, scrambling to keep up with the demands of the world. Instead, we begin with confidence, with a deep sense of purpose. We know that our worth is not found in how much we accomplish or how others see us, but in something far greater. That knowledge changes everything. It changes how we handle stress, how we interact with others, and how we move through each moment. The world will always try to pull us in different directions. There will always be distractions, pressures, and voices telling us what we should do, who we should be, and what we should worry about. But we do not have to let those things control us. We can choose to center our hearts each morning, to start the day with clarity instead of confusion, with peace instead of panic. And when we do, we will find that no matter what happens around us, we will walk through each day with a steady heart and a clear sense of purpose. Every morning, before the world demands our attention, before responsibilities pull us in different directions, we have a choice to make. We can step into the day carrying the weight of our own worries, trying to control every outcome, or we can surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is the greatest act of strength. It is the daily decision to let go of the burdens we were never meant to carry and to place our trust in something greater than ourselves. Those who learn the power of surrender wake up with a peace that cannot be shaken and a purpose that cannot be taken away. Too often we start our mornings with a mindset of striving. We immediately think of what we must accomplish, what problems we need to solve, and what challenges may lie ahead. Our minds race before we have even stepped out of bed, already trying to control the day before it has even begun. This constant striving creates stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. We convince ourselves that if we can just work harder, plan better, or push through with more determination, we will finally find peace. But peace does not come from striving, it comes from surrendering. It comes from realizing that we are not in control of everything, and we do not have to be. Surrender is an act of trust. It is the decision to release the need to control every detail and to believe that there is a greater plan at work. It means waking up each morning and choosing faith over fear, choosing trust over worry. It is understanding that we were never meant to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. When we surrender, we acknowledge that we do not have to figure everything out on our own. We do not have to be perfect, and we do not have to have all the answers. Instead of starting the day feeling overwhelmed, we start it with confidence, knowing that we are guided by something greater than ourselves. The discipline of daily surrender is not always easy. The world tells us that success comes from self-reliance, that we must take control of everything if we want to succeed. But the truth is, real strength is found in letting go. Those who surrender each morning walk with a different kind of strength, a quiet, unshakable confidence that does not waver in the face of uncertainty. They do not live in fear of what the day may bring because they know they are not facing it alone. They move with purpose, not because they have figured everything out, but because they trust that the path ahead is already prepared for them. When we surrender, we find freedom. We are no longer weighed down by anxiety or fear. We no longer waste energy trying to control things that were never meant to be in our hands. Instead, we move through the day with peace, with clarity, and with purpose. Each morning we have the choice. Will we start the day in striving, or will we start it in surrender? The answer to that question will determine the kind of life we live. Every morning as we open our eyes to a new day, we are faced with a decision. Will we step into the day with faith, or will we allow fear to take control? This choice may seem small, but it determines everything. The way we start our day shapes our mindset, our actions, and ultimately our future. Fear whispers doubt into our hearts, making us hesitate, making us question our purpose, and filling our minds with endless what-ifs. But faith silences fear. Faith reminds us that we are not alone, that we have been given this day for a reason, and that we are equipped to handle whatever comes our way. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on the unknown, convincing us that we are not strong enough, not prepared enough, not capable enough. Fear tells us that the obstacles ahead are too big, that the challenges are too great, and that we should shrink back instead of stepping forward. If we're not careful, fear will dictate our entire day before it even begins. It will keep us stuck, preventing us from walking in confidence and robbing us of the peace and purpose we were meant to have. But here is the truth. Fear is a liar. Fear has no power except the power we give it. Faith, on the other hand, leads us in a different direction. Faith reminds us that we do not have to have all the answers, that we do not have to be in control of every detail. Faith gives us the courage to step forward, even when we do not know what lies ahead. Faith does not mean that we will never face difficulties, but it does mean that we do not have to face them alone. When we choose faith, we are choosing to believe that there is something greater than our fears, something stronger than our doubts, something more powerful than the uncertainties that surround us. The way we start our morning determines whether we walk in faith or in fear. If we begin the day focusing on everything that could go wrong, we will carry that anxiety with us throughout the day. But if we begin by choosing faith, by focusing on what is true, what is good, and what is possible, our entire outlook changes. Instead of waking up dreading the day, we wake up with expectation. Instead of shrinking back, we step forward with confidence. Instead of letting fear control us, we take control of our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions. Every single day, we will face moments where we must decide between faith and fear. But when we intentionally start our morning in faith, we strengthen our ability to keep choosing faith throughout the day. We no longer allow fear to dictate our steps. We no longer let worry steal our peace. We wake up knowing that no matter what happens, we are not walking this journey alone. Fear may try to whisper doubt into our hearts, but faith speaks loud. And when we start each day with faith, we step into our purpose with boldness, courage, and an unshakable peace that carries us through whatever lies ahead. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform the way we start each day. It is not just a feeling. It is a choice, a discipline, and a way of life. When we wake up with a heart full of gratitude, we shift our focus from what is missing to what we already have. We stop dwelling on our problems and start recognizing our blessings. Gratitude does not change our circumstances, but it changes our perspective. And when our perspective shifts, everything else follows. A grateful heart opens the door to peace, joy, and a sense of purpose that cannot be shaken by the challenges of the day. Too often people wake up already thinking about what is wrong. They start their mornings listing all the things they lack, all the problems they have to solve, and all the worries that weigh on their hearts. This habit creates a cycle of negativity that shapes the entire day. But imagine what would happen if instead we woke up and immediately focused on the good, the simple gifts of life, the blessings we often take for granted, the breath in our lungs, the opportunity to see another sunrise, the people we love, the lessons we have learned. These are not small things. They are reminders that we have been given another day, and with it, the chance to grow, to love, and to make a difference. Gratitude is not about ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about choosing to see beyond the struggles and recognize the gifts that are still present. Even in the hardest moments, there is always something to be thankful for. When we cultivate this mindset first thing in the morning, we develop a habit of seeing life through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. We stop dwelling on what we do not have and start appreciating what we do. This shift in perspective gives us strength, resilience, and a sense of deep contentment that cannot be easily shaken. The practice of gratitude also affects how we interact with others. When we begin the day with appreciation in our hearts, we become more patient, more understanding, and more generous. We stop seeing people as obstacles or sources of frustration, and instead we recognize them as fellow travelers on this journey of life. We begin to express kindness more freely, to speak words of encouragement instead of complaint, and to see opportunities for connection rather than division. Gratitude softens our hearts, and in doing so it shapes the way we experience the world around us. Each morning we have a choice. We can focus on what is wrong, or we can focus on what is good. We can begin the day in frustration, or we can begin it in thankfulness. The direction we choose will determine the kind of day we have, and ultimately, the kind of life we live. A heart that is trained in gratitude sees life differently. It finds beauty in the ordinary, joy in the small moments, and purpose in every new day. And when we start our mornings in gratitude, we step into the day with a peace and strength that carries us through whatever lies ahead. The way we begin our day does not just affect our mornings. It sets the course for everything that follows. When we wake up with intention, when we step into the day with a clear focus on what truly matters, we live differently. We no longer drift through life, reacting to whatever comes our way. Instead, we move forward with purpose, with direction, with a sense of calling that gives meaning to each moment. Too many people go through life simply existing, going through the motions without a true sense of why they are here. But those who start each day with purpose do not just exist, they live. They make the most of the time they have been given. They do not waste their mornings, and they do not waste their lives. Purpose is not just about chasing big dreams or accomplishing great things. It is about waking up each day with a reason to move forward. It is about knowing that our time on this earth is not an accident, that we have been placed here for a reason, and that every single day is an opportunity to make a difference. When we live with purpose, we do not just get through the day, we invest in it. We see the value in the small moments, the conversations we have, the kindness we show, the work we do, and the way we love others. Purpose is not something we wait to find. It is something we step into every single morning. One of the biggest obstacles to living with purpose is distraction. It is easy to wake up and immediately get lost in the demands of life, in the pressures of work, in the worries of the day. But those who are truly fulfilled do not let distractions dictate their direction. They take time each morning to align themselves with what matters most. They do not rush into the day without intention. They pause, reflect, and set their focus on what is truly important. They ask themselves, what is my mission today? How can I use this time wisely? How can I make an impact, even in the smallest ways? This mindset changes everything. When we start our day with purpose, we approach everything differently. Work is no longer just about making a living. It is about making a difference. Relationships are no longer just about casual interactions. They become opportunities to show love, to encourage, and to uplift. Challenges are no longer just obstacles to endure. They become opportunities to grow, to strengthen our character, and to trust in something greater than ourselves. Purpose gives meaning to every part of our day, and when we wake up with it in our hearts, we carry it with us in everything we do. Each morning we are given a gift, the gift of another day, another chance, another opportunity. The question is, how will we use it? Will we wake up and let life happen to us? Or will we wake up and step into it with intention? Purpose does not come from waiting for the right moment. It comes from choosing to live fully in this moment. And when we start each day with that mindset, we will walk in peace, we will walk in confidence, and we will walk in the fullness of the life we were meant to live.